So the last chapter that we're doing was what? About prepositions, right? So basically, before I go there, I want to explain something to you guys because, as I said, different book introduce different things in different chapter, right? The other class, something that I'm about to talk to you about today, actually, we started talking in the day one. In this class, right now is the time to a little bit talk about some of the fundamental of the Arabic language, right? I'm not going to go too much detail, right? Because the way this book is designed, I shouldn't be talking too much about those things right now because it wants you to introduce this topic, this concept slowly, right? So I'll follow that pattern. But nonetheless, you kind of have to understand something that in Arabic language, like in any language, you have something called parts of speech, right? You have a word that can be whether noun, verbs, adverbs, preposition. You have all those things, right? In English, I believe there are like 8 parts of speech, right? In Arabic, something that you kind of have to understand in order for us to talk a few technical things. So in Arabic, we have, for example, if I write parts of speech, right? In Arabic, we kind of have like 3 only. Okay, so we have noun. I'm quickly gonna go through them because you don't have to understand too much, but you'll see why it's kind of useful to know at this point. You have noun, you have verb, right? And you have something you can call particle. What is particle? I'll explain. Right, so this is the basic things that we have when you categorize them in terms of parts of speech, right? So now you might be thinking, well, what happened to adjectives? What happened to the pronouns? What happened to the adverbs? What's going on, right? So that's where the Arabic language we have to kind of understand this concept because these are all fall under the noun. So we'll have adjectives falling under the noun. You have adverbs falling under noun, and in all the other things fall under noun. I'm not going to go too much in detail, but the verbs is kind of similar thing, right? The verb is kind of the same thing as the English. The verbs are verbs. So what is particles? Particles are you can think about, if you're thinking from English parts of speech perspective, you can think of them like you have your prepositions, right? Prepositions. And for example, conjunctions, right? And there are more. I'm just giving you, just so that you understand what we're talking about, right? There's a lot more we can talk about, but honestly, in this book, I don't feel like talking too much about these things. So we have only 3 parts of speech, right? We have the nouns, we have verbs, and we have particles. Verb, you can think of just like the English verbs, right? There's some differences, of course, but at this point, you don't have to worry too much about them. And then the nouns is a little bit more broader in Arabic language, right? So nouns are including your adjectives, your adverbs, interjections, what else is there? All sorts of things. The particle is, maybe I should give you the Arabic terms. Maybe it's a good idea. I don't want to bother you guys too much with these things, but I think it's going to be helpful in today's lesson and going forward. So the Arabic terms for noun is ismun, okay, ismun, and the verbs is fi'lun, fi'lun, and the particle is harfun, harfun, okay, right? So don't worry too much about these terms, right? But I think these 3 terms, you should actually worry about them. I mean, I think it would be better if you understand the nouns. Your ism can also mean name, what is your name, masmuka, So, but in the grammar perspective, it means noun. Ism, noun, the fi'al is verb, and harf is particle. Now, you probably remember the harf also means letter, right? Harf also means letter. So it's not the quite same, here when we talk about parts of speech, we mean something, one of the interesting definition of harf, which is something, they will say something that is not noun and that is not verb, So if something is not noun, something is not verb, it's called harf. Anyway, so for us, if we understand that harf is something like preposition and conjunction, for now, it's fine. SubhanAllah, these things, my iPad has been giving me a lot of problems lately. SubhanAllah, I really don't know why. I like my iPad. right? جيد. So this part is clear. You understand. So for example, if we have adjective like jamil, you know, jamilun, and it will be falling under noun. Okay, just like, and then simple noun, which is also like baitun, is also will be falling under noun. Okay, um, you understand. And even standard name like Ahmed, you know, it's also under noun. Just normal thing, right? In this lesson, today's lesson, we'll also be getting one or two verbs. Okay, so for example, the one of the verb that we're gonna get is ذهب. ذهب. This is a past tense verb. I'm giving you some examples of these parts of speech. Past tense verb, it means uh, see, I don't want to talk too much about the verb, but it means he went. Okay, and I think there's another verb we got here. I'm not sure. Is it kharaja or something else? I don't know. Kharaja, it means he went out. Went out to get out, something like that. Okay, and obviously our main topic is preposition, and we know some of the prepositions, right? For example, the book will give you a lot of them. So we have fi, and we studied ala, and we'll be studying a few more. Hold on, we'll be studying min and ila. I think I talked about all of them, right? So what is fi? You guys remember what is fi? Fi. Quick type, quick type. In, yes, okay. What is ala? Ala, on, okay. What is min? Did we do min? Not sure. You guys know min? From, okay, good. What is ila? To. جيد. أحسنتم. So that's good, right? So I think, as far as I know, this book. Oh, okay, good. So I think this book, this chapter, you'll get all four of them, inshallah. So when you go through them, you'll see all four of them, right? جيد. And then we did few of the conjunction, right? Not few, actually one only, which is wa, right? Wa is what? What is wa? And, yes. Wa is and. And I'll give you another one, which we also did, which is also harf, which is not something, interestingly, in Arabic, in English language, is called something else, which is the article alif lam. Okay. The article alif lam, which is the, is also called harf in Arabic language. But do you guys know what is it in English language? No, it's not English class, but it's kind of interesting. Anybody know what the refers to in English language? Interestingly, it's actually an adjective. In our English language, the would be considered an adjective. That is strange. Okay, so that's what your parts of speech in Arabic language, right? So as I said, there's a lot more can be said, but for now, this is fine. Okay, good so far. So you keep this in mind, right? Just we have three things: noun, verbs, and particles. Now, one thing that we learned from the beginning is that something that this would be our topic here. So something, for example, the word actually, in Arabic, will, instead of saying parts of speech, they will say kalima, right? They will say kalimatun. What is kalima? Anybody know what kalima means? You guys should know that. What is kalima? Kalima is word. Okay. Yes, good. Kalima is word. Kalima is word. Okay. In classical Arabic, it can also mean sentence, but right now, mostly it means word, a single word. Okay. So that means basically what they're saying is that a word can be either noun, verb, and particle. So simply any word you can come up with, you can categorize them in one of these three categories. And it is especially important when we talk about grammars, not necessarily because we still have adjective, we have to deal with adjective in Arabic language, just like Jamil is an adjective, Bait is not adjective. It's not. You have to understand this. That's why I don't want to. If I bring this topic, this the conversation gets a little bit longer, because it's not like Arabic saying that the bite, the Jamil is noun. Like they don't understand that the Jamil is an adjective. That's not the point. Jamil is still an adjective, sifa, naat. Arabic, we have term for those. Jamil will be considered naat or sifa. But when you will see why we have to categorize them in a noun, because they have exact same grammar ruling as nouns. They have the same kind of, especially when we talk about the ending, they have the same ruling. So if we understand all at once, then, we don't have to separate the adjectives, study them separately. Okay. But just make sure I make that clear. In Arabic language, we have adjective, we have adverb, we have all of these things. Okay. We just don't categorize them separately, right? Jayid. So another thing that we said, that when we talk about word, like when we talk about word, uh, repeated this a lot of times, that the last part is usually what we it deals with the grammar aspect of this, right? So like what kind of situation or the state, or what the role of this word in the sentence. That's all this last one indicates, right? So this is all news. I've been repeating this a lot. And the other one is just your standard spelling. So that means we have to understand, so what does it mean, right? So we talked about the default. When the word is standing by itself, default, it's always what? Always Dhamma, right? Default is always Dhamma, right? So now, obviously, we have to know that we have to consider that it might change, and it will change, right? Based on the situation, right? So this much we understand. So what are the possibilities? What can it change, right? What are the possibilities? Huh? What are the possibilities of here? Huh? So it can be Dhamma, right? It can be Fatha. It can be Kasra. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's Dhamma or, with Tanween, doesn't matter. Okay. Dhammatani, or, whether you call Dhammatani or Dhammatani. Uh, these are usually, this Tani and Aini, this is not usually used in Arabic grammar. It's mostly used in the Tajweed class, but usually they'll just say Tanween. Once you say Tanween, that's double of something. So whatever is double of, you understand, So Tanween of, or doesn't matter whether it's Tanween or without Tanween. Okay. The fact is that whether it is Fatha and Dhamma, that's all it's, from the grammatical perspective, that's all it matters, right? So far, so clear. So we understand that every word by default, it should have, the ending should be Dhamma, right? And that's what we've been seeing all this time, right? For example, we've been saying by, I'm using the same word all the time. Baitun, okay, good. Waladun, did we do waladun? I think we did waladun, right? But then we learned a little bit technical thing, that when we say alif lam, right, then we kind of don't say al wala. I cannot say tanwin anymore. We have to drop the tanwin, right? We say al waladu, but we're not changing the case. We're not changing the case ending. It's still under what? It's still under dhamma, right? Because you understand. So the grammar hasn't changed. It's just that now it's a definite. For example, if you say a boy is walking on the street, well, a boy is what? It's a subject. Now, if you said the boy is walking on the street, did you change from subject to object? No, you haven't done anything. You're just now saying this isn't a definite noun. You're not doing anything. But at the same time, in English, just like in English, you have to change from a to the. In Arabic, you have to change from tanwin to alif lam, right? And just like in English, you cannot say the a boy walking on the street. Likewise, in Arabic, you cannot say al waladun. You cannot have, this is all stories. Somebody, and we're doing a bit of review here, right? So we're comfortable with all of these things, right? Inshallah, yes, no, maybe. We're still thinking about the beef curry or biryani, something like that. Subhanallah. Oh man, say it. Too much biryani. Yes, alhamdulillah. Yeah, so that's what it is, right? So that's good. So far that's what we've been seeing, right? We've been seeing all of this thing all the time. We have never seen anything else at the end. Always it's been tanwin or dhamma or dhamma tani. So now from last class, what we saw for the first time, we kind of have to think about the ending. We never thought about ending. Now kind of first time we thought about ending. Why? Because now all of a sudden we saw that something, if one of the preposition comes, we kind of, you know, I'm telling you, or the book's telling you that you cannot put this I'll buy to my, that the book is keep on telling me that this guy, the teacher is keep on telling me that I have to put kasra, right? Yes. So this is our first rule, and the first time we're seeing that we have to take consideration, like we have to take this job of changing the case. Okay, so and this is the first time we understand that when you have a preposition, now you cannot be sitting in this camp anymore. Okay, you cannot be sitting in this camp anymore. Where do you have to come? You have to come in this category where the ending is kasra. Okay, so for example, we write fil baiti. Okay, so now we know one of the situation when we have to change from whatever the case was, we have to put the ending into kasra. Now, question, does it matter if it's a kasra or kasratani? No, it doesn't. For example, I can say ala maktabin. Maktabin. Here I'm saying bin because why? Because it's indefinite, right? There's no alif lam. You understand? So the fact that it's tanween and without tanween, that doesn't matter. We're still putting in what? Here. Ala makta bin. Okay. Yes, fi baitin, absolutely. Here you can say fi baitin. Exactly. Ahsanti. Okay, baitin. You get it? And likewise, if you want to say the maktab, then you change it al here al and you put al maktab. I'll just write it just show you both. Uh, a lot of somebody was getting a little bit. How many teeth are? Okay, so this meme is hiding here, right? Al maktabi. You understand? Good. So far so good. But now what I'm going to do is the fatha case, I'll just leave it alone for now. Okay, inshallah. It's but the unfortunately thing is this book, you're probably not going to see the fatha case until I have to check. As far as I know, this book doesn't talk about verbs or any of the situation where fatha comes. Usually you'll see all the fatha that you ever need in book 2, right? But that's a long way. So basically, just to give you, if you're just wondering, just to give you some food for your thought, fatha usually will come when there's a lot of, I'll tell you something interesting. Let me just explain when the fatha you will see. One of the most common situation you'll see fatha when the noun becomes an object. Okay, for example, if you say the boy is walking, the boy is the subject, then you will say al waladu, right? Then al waladu, we have a subject, then it's going to be dhamma. I'm just giving you a little bit something that you don't have to worry too much about, but just if you're wondering. But if you say I saw the boy, al walad, you saw the boy, then you will say ra'aytu al walada. That time you're going to put a fatha, because the walad at that time you saw the boy, the boy is an object, it's not a subject anymore. That's when you will put fatha. There are a lot of cases. So basically, believe it or not, the most rules about when to put fatha kasra is in the fatha. Fatha has a lot situation when you have to consider about putting fatha. Dhamma would be the second situation, and the kasra would be the least. And believe it or not, there's only 2 situations you will put kasra. Only 2 situations, and one we're studying right now, which is what? After preposition. So we can, this is the only 2 situations you will put kasra. One is preposition, and the next one we're just going to cover in the next chapter. After that, there's no other situation you will ever put kasra. So one is after preposition. Another one is when you have a possession, which we're going to be idafa. We'll be covering inshallah in next chapter, maybe next week or so. So these are the only 2 situations you'll put. Think about kasra. And every other time it's either going to be you're thinking about whether do I put dhamma or fatha. But what I said, the base case, you start with dhamma. Everything starts just like you say, al baitu kabirun, everything tun. You just start, you don't worry about anything. But you only change from dhamma to something else when you have a reason. When you studied something, now the situation has come, then you think about changing it. Oh, remove. Okay, yes. So here's your kasra, right? So that's so the kasra is only in two situations. One of them is preposition, and another one, inshallah, we'll be covering next time. Okay. So fatha is don't worry too much about this one right now. Okay. So you understand this concept so far? Believe it or not, if you understand this concept, we can easily go through the chapter 4 that we is it 4 or what chapter are we doing? I think 4. Yeah, we can go through the chapter 4 very quickly because that's all it's talking about, right? But before I go there, there's one concept the book introduced, which is honestly very, very big, complicated topic. But that's why what the book does is it is very complicated if you study the whole thing at once. Let me see. Before I go there, I might want to give you some terms from the. By the way, I just probably want to write these terms in Arabic, but I don't know if you guys gonna be overwhelmed or feel intimidated. I'll just write them down for you, okay? And you don't have to, because what happens, you'll see a lot of times we cannot just keep on talking about dhamma, fatha, and kasra because sometimes this is another issue. I'll just give you English term right now. Maybe we can talk about some. Honestly, I don't want to confuse you guys. That's fine. This is fine. This is fine. So you have a dhamma, fatha, kasra. But as you see, one thing you'll learn in Arabic language is like Arabic language is very nice. In the everything is good because there are a lot of rules and cool things happening. Like math, science, and all of these things. But the problem is just like life. Arabic language has lots of exceptions. The exceptions makes the whole language is a little bit more complicated. Otherwise, everything has an exception. So the issue is like I don't want to bring those exception in the beginning because you have to learn the basic first. You have to learn that the basic, then master the basic, then you can think about exception. So all of this thing I'm saying for right now, if you understand the dhamma, fatha, and kasra, alhamdulillah, you're in good shape. Just one thing that book will teach you this term. So I'm going to teach you this term, which is what do you call prepositions in Arabic? The preposition in Arabic, right? So I'll just walk from here. So preposition in Arabic is called harful jar. You can say harf is harf is one letter, or you can say huruf, but you can say harful jar is fine. That means preposition, right? Sometimes you might also huruful jar, which is a plural. Okay. So this is the term I want you to get familiar with because the book actually gives this term, but it gives at the end huruful jar, right? So this is huruful jar. So how many huruful jar we studied? I just put them down here. I'm just gonna write quickly few of them, like fi, ala. I'll just write all of them. It doesn't take too long. I mean ila, right? Right? Fi. And remember, I told you last time in Quran, sometimes they will not put this dot at the end, right? In the fi, right? They will not put this dot. I don't know why they do that, but the way whether it's because this can be ya and this is ya and this is alif, right? This is ya and this is alif. So you kind of have to know. How do you know? I don't know which class I explained. If it's a kasra, then it will be ya. If it's a fatha here, then it will be alif. Okay, just keep that in mind. So the state when you have, for example, if you have fil bait, I'm just giving you this term because the book will talk about it then. So you have this harful jar. So harful jar, And this state is will be called majrur. Majrur. Okay. Majrur. Okay. So I think, yeah, I think you should know this term. I think it will be helpful. So you have a jar and majrur. Can you please explain that? Yeah. So what happens? This is like, it looks like yeah, right? But honestly, it's not yeah. It's a alif. It's your alif. And the way you know is because you say ala. Okay, ala, you have a fatha, so that means this is alif. Some books will put that small stick, some book will not put it. For example, like here, ira, it will be awesome. Okay, so here fil bayti, right? Fil bayti. So the fi is your what? Harful jar, and bait is in the state called majrur. The bait is a state called majrur. So this term, uh, I will, you know what, I'll give it to you guys. You guys can handle it, inshallah. So I'll just give you all the terms name. So the Dhamma is called marfu, marfu, marfu. Okay, so this is marfu. In English we call nominative. Okay, nominative case. Okay. The terms just, you know, get used to it, something that we don't have to memorize them now, but you know, you will be hearing these terms a lot, inshallah. You know, it will get to your head. Then you have mansub. Okay, mansub, which is accusative case. Spelling, I'm not too sure. And then the one we're doing, sorry, hold on, we're doing right now is majrur, okay, which is genitive case. Okay, so these three terms, it's, believe it or not, this, it's in Arabic language. When we study, when you really study grammar, right now you guys getting grammar bits by bits and studying the language at the same time, that's why you have no idea. But when you study really grammar, your life revolves around these three words. Simple as that. Whether this is marfu, mansub, or majrur, that's all you're thinking. What do I do? Why is it here? You know, it's a big topic, right? So you know, this is something that you can avoid. So at this point, I didn't want to give it to you, but you know, it's fine. So you say that when you have something in the marfu state, it gets a dhamma, right? When something is in mansub state, it gets a fatha, and when we have something in majrur state, then it gets a kasra. So what we'll say, what we're saying here, we're saying is that after fi, we have a fi, which is harful jar. After fi, the word becomes majrur, which means simply we say, you can write many different ways, genitive, it becomes genitive, or you can just simply say kasra. You know, just, you know, it's something probably will come, you know, often. So because even next chapter they will be having this whole conversation about majrur, okay, mudaf ilayh, when they talk about it. So you know, I just want you to get at least used to this one. The majrur is genitive, means think about majrur is kasra. Right now that's fine. You have somebody tells you majrur, it means you're thinking about kasra. Okay, so for clear. So the harful jar is what is harful jar, huh guys? What does harful jar means? Harmful jars is preposition, right? So yes. So what is majrur means? Huh? What is majrur? Yes, kasra. That's it. I like that, kasra state. That's it. You don't have to say genitive. Doesn't matter. So you have a majrur is the either your kasra, and the harful jar is preposition. What is the question? What is the word under fi? What is, okay? This is the harful jar. Maybe you should write it down better. Harful. Subhanallah. I'm trying to write it better. I think I'm making it more. Okay, harful jar. Which meaning depends. You know, no. So you don't have to. But the thing is, as long as this thing, as I said, you can avoid it. The faster you get this thing in your head, better it is. But right now we're going to be using the majrur term quite often. So whether you think, if you're see, if you don't know the English, because the problem is, I'm keep on saying that the issue is that we don't study English grammar, so we never probably even heard what genitive means, right? In English, we have something called genitive case. For example, when you have, this is the exact situation when we study the next chapter, we say Muhammad's book, you know. So that means, you know, this, well, I'm kind of Muhammad's book. So that means, oh, sorry, the book of Muhammad. When you say book of Muhammad, both of them same thing. Book of Muhammad. Then they will say the Muhammad is in genitive case. Genitive case. It's English is there. It's not something that Arab is making things up, right? But the problem is we don't study it. So that's why we're not even comfortable with the English term. So if you're not, so why study genitive right now? You know, if it's something, you know, brand new to you, so then you just learn majrur. You know, majrur means the situation when you get after a preposition, right? So after preposition, the whole when you put a kasra, that means, because remember what I said, this is a grammar. So grammar means what? It's the state of this word. Okay, if you understand this concept, then why are we saying genitive and nominative and accusative? It will make sense. If you understand that this indicates the state or I can write role of the word in sentence. Subhanallah, sentence. You guys, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys comfortable with my misspelling all the time right now. So that means that if you understand that we are talking about state. So when you talk about state, you're thinking, is it a subject? Is it an object? You know, what kind of situation? So that's what it indicates. So that means we have to think from the state perspective. Okay. So when you think about state perspective, so when we say majrur, which is genitive, that means it's under this kind of situation. When we say marfu, that means it's either default situation, which means basically your subject and predicate, right? We're not giving you a lot of this thing in the marfu because the book doesn't talk about it, but that's pretty much what we did so far. Marfu, we've seen everything was your subject or the predicate. So if subject or the predicate, both of them is in the marfu state, which means the nominative state. Okay, so you know, inshallah, it will come slowly, but right now, if you think about, you know, the state, that you will know why we're saying is in majrur, you know, because after preposition, the word will be in the genitive state or genitive case, which is majrur in Arabic. You can right now think about, you know, kasra, that's fine, but I'm saying sooner or later you can understand the majrur, because next chapter will also be coming the same concept, because in next chapter we also have to think about kasra. Okay, makes sense so far? So you have a preposition, yeah, majrur, majrur with R at the end, ra, majrur. Okay, did I misspell somewhere? I don't know. I don't even trust my spelling. Okay, so you have a fi is a preposition. Just think about fi. You have a preposition which is harful jar. You can just think about jar. You have a fi which is a jar, and then after the fi, it will be majrur. That means you'll put kasra. Okay, so for clear, preposition, and after preposition you think kasra. Okay, good. Okay. So another thing that I want, before I go to book, I have to explain, because the book introduced, which is I was talking about, it's a little bit advanced topic, but that's why the book will, this in the book one, I don't know how many chapters, probably 21, 23 chapters in book one, it will slowly bring one issue after another to explain this concept, something that is a little bit advanced. Uh, in Arabic, we call something called mamnu min as-sarf. Anyway, we'll study this one, inshallah. I think the last chapter is dedicated to this whole concept, but the book will introduce slowly. So what it is, let me just explain, then you'll see it's why this thing exists. In Arabic language, basically every noun, now that's we have to understand what is noun, right? That's why I explained to you what is noun. Every noun, okay, when I say every noun, I'm not talking about verb and I'm not talking about particles. Only after fee. No, not only after fee. Fee is what is fee? Can you tell me what is fee? What did we say fee is? Fi is preposition. So after any preposition. Okay. After any preposition. Yes. So after any preposition, so it could be fi, it could be ila, it could be ala, it could be min. There's a lot more prepositions. We'll learn them, right? So basically, after preposition, we get didn't I write this? Yeah. Maybe I should. So yeah, maybe yeah, it's a good point. Maybe I wasn't clear. So it's maybe I should make this one actually important. So after what? Preposition. Okay, good. Good, you pointed that out. Maybe I wasn't clear because this is important. So after preposition, what? We get what? Kasra. Right? Is it clear now? So yeah, so what we're saying is that when we talk about noun, okay, only noun. So when you talk about noun, what are you talking about? We're also talking about adjective, adverbs, everything, right? So when we talk about noun from the grammatical perspective, noun not like a name of things, noun which is like adjective, adverb, or anything. So when we talk about noun, default, it wants tanween. It wants tanween. Noun wants tanween. One of the unique thing in Arabic is for the noun is tanween. This is unique to only what? Noun. So what does that mean? Will you ever see tanween in a verb? Yes or no? And I'm just trying to get you guys warmed up. You guys not talking. You will see tanween in a verb? Are you sure? Tanween is only unique to noun. If you see a tanween, you can close your mind, think this is ever, it will never, ever be a verb. And what else it cannot be? If I say tanween is specific to noun, it cannot also be a what? Your harf, right? Which is particle. So that, yes, we cannot say, no, that's still a noun. This is also a noun. When you say fi'lun, it's still a noun. So, this word is noun, but when you have a dhahaba, this is your verb. You understand? This verb, you will never be with tanween. So when you say fi'l, we're also, this word itself, yeah, okay. So the word itself is still a noun. We're using the noun to describe something else, right? So, but this is your verb, and this verb or any other verb you will never ever have tanween. Okay. So here, harfun is a noun, but you will never see, like ala will never have tanween, mean like harf will never have tanween, okay? So what is the tanween's job? Where does tanween belongs? Tanween belongs in noun. So basically what this is going to be interesting if you think from this perspective, the tanween is an attribute or one of the characteristic of a noun. So noun wants to be in a tanween. So one of the time when we remove the tanween is when it gets alif lam, right? When alif lam equal to no tanween. We know this one already. So that's why when we have, like, for example, baitun, we have a tanween. Even when it's a name, which is a definite, it's not only definite, Muhammadun, we have tanween, right? Baitun is indefinite. Muhammad is definite. It wants the tanween because so that we know it's a noun, right? But we know the rule when you have alif lam, right? Then this is old rule. We have to remove the tanween, and obviously we cannot have alif lam in the Muhammad, so it stays that way. Okay, this is clear. But of course, there's a but coming. But we have a no, yes, I think I explained that one. I'm not sure. So good question, very good question. Jalisun. Jalisun. Sounds like what? Sitting, right? Right? Very interesting, right? It sounds like sitting. But this is in English we call active participant, right? Active participant, like for example, the one who is sitting, right? So this is not necessarily we're using as a verb. Okay, so for example, we're talking about his situation. He's sitting. For example, I can say the walking was great. If I say the walking was great, you know, the walking at this point is not a verb, even though you have ing and everything. You know, it's your noun, right? So when you say, this is a good question. In fact, sometimes yeah, I want to bring this tangent right now, but here jalisun is the one who sits. For example, somebody who writes is a writer. It will be same thing, same situation. Katibun, katibun, right? Writer. You can think about sitter, you know, he's a sitter, but you know, it doesn't, I don't think even makes sense in English. So one who's standing up is standing, he's standing, you know, in that situation. But we're not, this is not your verb. This is your, what? It's a noun from the grammatical perspective, right? So it's not verb. The verb would be jalasa, which is in the, you know, in the past tense. Present tense, you know, we're not gonna study the verb, right? Yes, context matter, and also, but you're not too off, by the way, because I don't want to say this one right now, because in Arabic language, the present continuous tense you can express in two ways. See, you know, that's why I'm not. Your question is very valid, but it's just that if I try to explain right now, someone else might be a little bit confused. In present tense, we say what? We say he. You know, it's good. Sometimes extra information is always helpful. It's not, you know, guys, if you're not interested, you know, don't worry too much about it. For example, you say he is standing. So here it's, we know what is standing. It's a verb, right? He is standing. It's in English, it's very clear. He is standing, right? Or I'm making some grammar mistake here. Should be clear that it's a verb. So he is the subject, right? But in Arabic, we can express this sentence in two ways. We can use as a verb, and we can also use as an active participant. But it has to be, you know, something continuous tense. Like, you know, he's standing, he's walking, he's doing something. So we can say huwa, we know what huwa jalisun. He is standing. Or you can even use the verb huwa yajlisu. Yajlisu. Now, the yajlisu is the verb. This is the one that never gonna get tanween. But this is your active participant, which is the doer. But the present continuous tense, we can express the same thing. Both of them will mean the same thing. Okay, so this is a little bit extra out of league. So leave it as it is. Okay, but good question. But to answer your question from our current chapter perspective, I will say simply that jalisun is not a verb. Simple as that. This is a noun. Okay, makes sense? So that's why we can safely put tanween, no problem. Okay, it's the same thing. We had another one, waqifun, right? Remember waqifun? What? Waqifun is standing. So this is also a noun. So we can put tanween. Make sense? Yeah. So, but the translation, when you translate, you know, that's a different issue, right? But the word itself, these are nouns. So, where was I? Where was I? Yeah. Yeah. So basically, the nouns wants to get tanween because this is one of the attributes of noun. The one of the time, there's a lot of times when we cannot put tanween. One of them is when we put alif lam and makes it definite. That time we cannot have tanween. But there are some special words. This is what the whole thing is about that I was trying to explain. There's some special word that cannot take tanween regardless. And there are a lot of rules, a lot of different types of word. So let me just, if the book really used that word term here or not. I don't think the book used the term because term is a little bit big. Mamnu' mina sarf is one of the big term. Basically, some word, just some words can't take tanween. Words, I mean noun. Oh, I have to be specific here. Can take tanween. What does it mean? So for example, Muhammad, Muhammadun. But guess what? If you say Ahmad, you can never say Ahmadun. It's the same word, same root, it's the same kind of name, right? Muhammad, you have to say Ahmadu. It will never ever take tanween. So this is what the book will start giving you. It's very briefly, but this concept will, I'm not even scratching the surface here, but something right now, only thing you have to know, because otherwise you'll be asking, because I said what Muhammad is a proper name, we put Tanwin. Then all of a sudden I put Amina, and I put one Dhamma, and you'll be asking, well, hold on a second. Muhammad, you put Tanwin. Why aren't you putting Tanwin in Amina? Why aren't you saying Amina Tun? Huh? Why aren't you saying Fatima Tun? And I'm not, because it cannot take Tanwin. Okay, so you have one whole slew of a word, and you have to know them. You have to really, really know them, because their implication is huge in Arabic language. Because everything that we talked about here, that the fatha, dhamma, and kasra, it's completely gets screwed up when we have these words. Okay, so you start to get a little bit taste of what we mean by exceptions. Uh, so I don't want to get you guys too much, but this is fun, to be honest with you. This is really fun. And the book, I like the way book, because it's a really big topic, but right now, only thing the book really showed you, I checked the book, they didn't talk about anything else. I can talk a lot more right now, because we're dealing with the, yeah, we're talking about nouns. This whole book's next 3-4 months or 5 months, how long we'll be only talking about nouns. And remember, we're talking tanwin. So when we say tanwin, everything else shuts down except for nouns, right? So we're talking about nouns. So we're tanwin means noun. So that means we're basically talking about tanwin. Which word takes tanwin and which word doesn't take tanwin, right? Okay. So yes, we are. Yes, special. So that means, yes. So basically, the nouns will not take tanwin, right? So these are there are a lot of categories. The book's not giving you all the categories. The book's right now only giving you. So I'll tell you, what any feminine name that ends with ta marbuta. Okay, so this is, I'll write it down. Special. You're saying special words. I'll write it special. I like the words helping me right now. Good. Special nouns that doesn't take tanwin. Don't make this topic too big deal right now, because it is a big deal, but right now, the book, right now, it's not a big deal. This is not our whole topic. Our whole topic is preposition, and I'm going to go back to the preposition, and I'm going to go back to the book. But because the book really introduced this thing slowly, so that means we have to understand there's something called special nouns. That's good enough for now. So what are the special nouns? Number one, there are a lot of them. Number one is feminine nouns ending in ta marbuta. Okay, what I mean? Amina, tu. Aisha, tu. Okay, you see that? What else do you know? Fatima. Okay, makes sense? It has to be a name. It cannot be your adjective. No, I don't want to confuse you. So basically, you have these names ending in ta marbuta and their feminine name. They will not take tanwin. Okay, you can try put tanwin, and it's just gonna you magically, this tanwin is gonna kick you off again. Then you put it again, it's just gonna come back again, meaning you cannot put tanwin. It's gonna be aminat all the time. Okay, and I'm giving a sneak peek of this topic. It's not only does matter whether it can tanwin or not. This kind of special word has a completely different situation, how we deal with the marfu, mansub, and majrur. Okay, so it's something inshallah we'll be getting soon. Okay, so you understand this? So basically right now, only thing you guys have to understand, when you have these names, Amina, Aisha, Fatima, okay, they cannot take tanwin. I'll just give you one more, just the book didn't mention, just so that I want you to understand, I understand this concept, because it doesn't have to be, sometimes it doesn't even have to be a feminine name, as long as it's feminine noun, in terms of like a proper noun. For example, Makkah. We've been using this one all our life, and we never knew this is one of the special ones. It's Makkah too. You can never say Makkatun. Okay. The Makkah, we know Makkah, right? People were in the Hajj in there, right? This is one of those special word that it cannot take tanween. It takes only one. It cannot take tanween. So it's Makkah too. Okay. So with that, inshallah, I'll go to the book and inshallah we'll finish. So any question here? So basically two concepts you have to understand. The number one is that there's a special word that cannot take tanween, although it should take tanween. Just like Muhammad, you know, it should take tanween. Ahmed should have taken tanween, but Ahmed cannot take tanween because this is one of the special word. I like that one, special word. So Amina is also one of the special word. Fatima is one of the special word. Okay, so they cannot take tanween. So right now this information is good enough, but what happens with these words is a lot more complicated. So we'll deal with those issues later. Second thing we said, the tanween is only deals with noun. When you talk about tanween, we're talking about nouns, right? Another thing that we talk about the prepositions, right? So the preposition in Arabic we call harful jar, right? And then the noun that comes after preposition is always what? Majrur. What is majrur means? Means kasra. Okay? So we always put kasra. Whether you're going to put one kasra or two kasra, that has to do with, whether or not it has alif lam. Okay? Makes sense? So far so good? Yes? Anything you want me to explain? If not, inshallah, we will be going to our book. Oh, it looks like we did something before. Right. So, yes, we're starting with Dars al-Rabi', the fourth lesson, right? So last time we talked about few of them, right? So they show al-baytu, then you say fil bayti. Here's our kasra. Why? Because fi is harful jar, okay? Harful jar, and the bayt is majrur, which is, that means it takes kasra. So basically, I'm trying to push you this majrur concept in your head, but basically, as long as you have ala is a preposition, after preposition, you get kasra. Okay? Make sense? Right now, even if you don't know what the word means, you see ala fi, see if, just put the kasra, then we're fine at this point. There's a lot of exception, but at this point it's fine. So now let's go to read some of the words and we'll do a lot of exercise. Okay. So aina Muhammadun. Okay. What is aina? You guys studied these words or no? I don't know. Did I give you a vocabulary list? Aina is where. So where is something? Aina, where? Aina Muhammadun. Why is it Muhammadun? Because that's the default case. We don't have any reason. So for all the rules that we know, none of them matches. So we just put Muhammadun. Aina Muhammadun. Where is Muhammad? Right? Where is Muhammad? And that whole is, where is Muhammad? That is because of the translation, right? We need the helping verb. Aina Muhammad. Where's Muhammad? And then, so two pronouns we have to memorize in this chapter. Two pronouns. One is huwa. Huwa is he. Maybe I have to, before you guys complain about my handwriting, let me fix it before that. Huwa equal to he, and hiya equal to she. Okay, these two words you have to memorize, right? It's no excuse. Huwa is he, hiya is she. It's very simple, right? So you say Aina Muhammad, you can't say, instead of huwa, you can say Muhammadun fil ghurfa. Okay, what are you gonna do here? What is ghurfa? Ghurfa is room, and it will be the room because of alif lam, right? So far so good. So now they left the grammar for us. So what are you gonna put here? Fil ghurfatu or ghurfati? Why you're saying ghurfati? I thought it's gonna be ghurfatu. Why do you want to put ghurfati? I'm tricking you. Don't fall for it. Just explain yourself. Because you have this preposition, right? Once you have preposition, you're right, we have to put the kasra. Fil ghurfati. Yes. So he said aina. So the translation is very simple. He is, as I said, you can say Muhammad fi Muhammadun fil ghurfati. You can say that, but we're learning the pronouns, right? Instead of saying Muhammad repeating the same noun again, we should use the pronoun huwa. Huwa is he. So you can translate is, I don't know if I have enough room here. You can translate as he is in the room. Look how many words we have to put in English, and in Arabic it's just huwa fil ghurfa. Okay. So then the question is, wa aina, wa here is and, wa aina yasirun. See, yasirun. This is, we are putting tanwin here. Wa aina yasirun. So what is wa aina yasirun mean? And where is yasir? And you're saying huwa fil hammam. Hammam is bathroom. Okay, hammam is bathroom. So did I give you the vocabulary words list or no? I'm not sure. If not, then I'll inshallah I'll send it to you. All of these words should be in that vocabulary word list. Hammam is bathroom. Okay. Okay, good. So see, you have a kasra. Why do you have a kasra? Because of fi. So right now, for the first time, you'll be seeing a lot of kasra, right? We're very we're comfortable with dhamma right now. You'll see a lot of kasra. If you remove fi, then it's going to be dhamma again, right? But we have a fi, so we have to put kasra. All of these things are same. I don't want to repeat this. وأين آمنة here. See, we had Muhammadun, Yasirun. All of a sudden, we have Aminatu. What's going on, right? That's the issue. That's something that I was explaining to you before, right? So when you have the feminine name like Amina, Aisha, Fatima, all of these names, it doesn't take tanwin. You have to use with one dhamma. Here, see now they're using here because it's she. Here fil matbakhi. Okay, it's as if like all the women has to be in the kitchen all the time. Subhanallah, right? 21st century, the book fails, disappoints, right? Madbakh is kitchen, right? Wa aina al-kitabu, and where is the book? Wa ala al-maktabi. Okay, ala al-maktabi is what? On the desk, right? These are easy, right? So, but do you understand why you have one dhamma here, right? This is because of alif lam, right? Right? Wa aina sa'a. What is sa'a? Sa'a is like a watch. Okay, watch clock. Okay, a sa'a is watch clock. So aina, where's the watch? See here. Okay, so this is the interesting thing that I have to explain to you here right now. If you just translate, I said here means what? Here means she, right? Here means she, which is true. Now you were tempted to say she is on the bed. But right now, this she, we're talking about a sa'a. A sa'a is what? Is clock. So does it make sense for us to say she is on the bed? Of course not. It would mean what? It is on the bed. It. So the note to yourself that both huwa plus here, both can mean it. It's on the context, right? In Arabic, they don't make this kind of distinguish. Like Arabic is fine. You're saying the, if you want to translate like the clock, she is on the bed. If the book, he is. It's same thing here. The book, he is on the desk, right? So, but in English translation, we have to make that distinction, right? In Arabic, we don't have the word it. There's no such thing as it. It has to be either masculine or feminine. And we're going to be talking about masculine and feminine a lot when we go to chapter 7, I believe, or no, chapter 6. Okay, so I'm going to leave that whole topic about the gender, what's going on with here, and on that chapter, right? So right now, for our translation, just think from our translation perspective. If I say the book, he is on the desk, people will think we're crazy, right? So just make everybody happy, right? It is on the desk. So huwa can be it or he. Here can be it or she. Make sense? Yeah. So you're going to say it is on the bed. And here we have ala and you have a kasra. Okay? Make sense? See, you have al-madbakhu, you say fi, Then you have to put al-matbakhi. That's the main thing you have to understand. Honestly, after that, if you're comfortable with this, believe it or not, the whole thing is just matter of, you know, knowing the vocabularies and being able to translate, right? So we have this one, and the first exercise we have, Ajib anil as'ilatil atiyati. So Ajib, it's me, answer this coming question. That's all it's saying. Answer the coming question. So basically, the first exercise is asking Ajib anil as'ilatil atiya. So before I even explain something, I have a question for you. See if you guys are thinking, why do I have a kasra here? Why do I have a kasra here? What do you think? I'll answer. Yes. So what is an? What do you think an? I never talked about the word an, but what do you think an is? Not the meaning. I just want to know what do you think the an is? Is what? Preposition, right? Yes. See, because an is preposition, doesn't matter, anything, you will put the kasra. An is about. An is about. It's like it sometimes, by the way, a lot of preposition meanings changes based on the context, but standard definition of an is about. So answer this following question. That's all it's basically asking. So this one is Aina al kitabu, right? So why am I putting bu here? Because I don't see any preposition here, right? There's no preposition. Oh, and why I'm not saying bun here? Because of alif lam, right? So sometimes you put and you play around with these things in your head, and then it will be refreshing for you. So Aina al kitabu. So basically, I'm just gonna do one or two, and then you can do rest in home as a homework, right? The way you answer is based on from this text. It's like your first reading comprehension, so to speak. A very simple thing, but honestly, it's very simple. So it's an Ain al-Kitab. You look for this phrase here, Ain al-Kitab, and the answer is right in front of you. Huwa ala al-maktab. Okay, so you can write the whole thing, Huwa ala al-maktab. So it's good in a way because you read here, you have to go back to the text. You're reading the whole text again. Your vocabularies retention is getting better. So all of these things are happening, right? And you're also giving answer, and you're also reading the sentence without the harakat. And if you don't know, for example, right now you don't know how to read this one, I'm pretty sure it's going to be here. Aina Muhammad, which is your first one. Aina Muhammad. So where's Muhammad? How are you going to answer? Huh? Huwa fil ghurfa. Yes, it's and the, not only that, sometimes if you know some of the rules, I think I give you few rules. For example, if you have, we did this one before. I don't have to put anything here because I explained last time, when you have alif, it's going to be fatah here anyway, right? And I give you another rule, like at the end. Remember I told you at the end, if you have ta marbuta, right? This one always going to be fatah, right? So you're not going to be, so there's some rules, and inshallah you will get used to it. And some of them you don't even have to explain. Nobody has to explain to you. You keep on looking at, after ya, for example, I'll explain. If you have ya and then you have a kasra in the before, sorry, if you have ya, you'll be attempted to read kasra then before one. So there's some techniques you can, inshallah, you'll master. Don't worry too much about this thing. And if you have confusion, inshallah, we'll be reading through them in the class, and you will get them. So yeah, so Aina Muhammad, the answer is Huwa fil ghurfa. And then it gets a little bit interesting here. These ones are very easy, the 3, 4, 5 is just exactly what they're saying, right? Let's see number 6. Number 6 is in Aminatu. What is this, Hamza? Who can tell me what is this one means? It's from chapter 1. This is your question. Remember that question. You're making it into a question. The Hamza is like is, yes, that kind of question, the question. So without this one, you have Aminatu fil ghurfa. If you remove the question, Aminatu fil ghurfa ti, that means Amina is in the room. Now this, you bring this Hamza, now you're asking, this whole statement becomes a question. First it was like, well, she is in the room, but now you're not, the whole thing changes, right? Is she in the room? That's the question. So how do you answer? Obviously you have to go back here, and then you have Amina says hiya fil matbakh, she's in the kitchen. So answer will be what? How do you answer? Remember, we learned how to answer yes no questions, right? So is it true? First of all, is it true? Is she in the ghurfa? She's in the room? Yes. Yes, exactly. So, but that's good. But here's the key. If this question is with the Hamza, that means it's a yes, no question. Before you say what you're saying, you have to answer first with yes and no. So it should be la, then you can say here fil matbakh, right? Right? Fil matbakh, right? So but you must answer with yes or no first, because why? Because you have the question with yes, Hamza, which we talked about in in the first chapter, right? There's another word for remember, there's another word was for hal. Both of them are same thing. Okay, so inshallah with this, if you understand yasir fil matbakh, of course, we know that yasir wasn't fil matbakh, so we kind of know the answer would be no. Where was he? And yasir huwa fil hammam. Okay, and yasir was in the hammam, which is hammam is bathroom. Okay, so I think oh, here's another one, maybe mada. Mada is what? Like mada is same thing as ma, but you say mada like what? Just translate here as a what? Mada ala al maktab. What is going to be ala al maktabi? So it's asking what is on the desk. Mada ala al maktab. What is on the desk? Okay, what is on the desk? It says huwa ala al maktab. So huwa ala al maktab. So what is on the desk? Kitab. So it's kind of interesting, you kind of have to read and go and read between the lines and things like that, but it's really not difficult. So how would you going to answer this one? ماذا على المكتب? You'll say الكتاب الكتاب على المكتب. So see here you say al-kitabu because alif lam and this is subject, there's nothing, but here you say al-maktabi because of ala. This one, I don't know if it's gonna be a little bit hard for you guys. In the beginning, I thought it's gonna be super easy, but depends. Um, but I still want you guys to try this one, right? If I do the whole thing, I can go through them in the class next time, but I really want you to try this. It's a good exercise, and the answers are right there, right? So you can't make mistake. So I'm giving you some of the words that I thought is new. So mada is what? So ماذا على المكتب? What is on the desk? And you just say what is on the desk. So we know that something is on the desk. Huwa on the desk. What is the huwa? Huwa is al-kitab. So you just make the sentence. Instead of saying huwa ala al-maktab, you just replace huwa with the al-kitab. So you say al-kitab ala al-maktab. So you just replace the pronoun back to the noun, right? You understand? Yes. I have like less than 10 minutes. I want to do a little bit more. Okay, good. So please try this one. And if you don't try, you don't know if you know it or not. Okay, so please try this one. I really want you to try this one. Okay. So what's next? This is your same standard things that we did. Okay, don't ignore it, please, because this is good. This will help you. You're getting used to this pronunciation. No, it could be anything. Mother can be with anything. Yes, for example, you don't know. Yes, it's a good question. Yes, if you know something, for example, you're looking at something like there's a lot of people and you want to know who is on the desk, like if is your son or somebody else's daughter is on the, then you will say man. But for example, if you don't know, like you're just asking what's, at that point you can say mother. Then somebody might answer you that he, okay, but if you know this, you're talking about, like for example, because we're talking about desk, maybe if the context is that the kids are playing and they're on the desk, then you can say man ala maktab, who is on the desk. Okay, yeah, but usually when that's usually probably they talk about things. Yeah, the good question though. So so here you just read, for example, I want you to read like this. So a few things going to help you. Number one, see if you can figure out without reading without a harakat. So al madrasa, but the main key is reading the last reading the last harakat. So you're going to say al madrasa 2. Okay, here fil madrasa ti. So keep on saying fil baiti. So if you keep, if you repeat, and much better would be if you can read them a little bit louder instead of feeling shy. You don't want people to see you're studying Arabic. You go in the corner in the bed, under the bed or something, and then with your, I don't know what you guys doing, but subhanallah, you guys should be proud and read. And whoever you find, just keep bothering them and then explain what you learn. Believe it or not, this is how you're going to learn. I bother people all the time. They have zero interest. Some of them, when they see me, they will walk in another way because they know I'm probably gonna start a conversation about Arabic language. So, but I don't care, right? You don't have to care. You just talk to them and then just explain. If there's a preposition, then you gotta put kasra, and the kasra is like, this is called majrur. He'll be like, "What are you talking about?" Don't mind him or her. Okay, so you can read them aloud. Fil madrasati, fil baiti. Then you're going to say al baitu. See, now you go back to the default case. Okay. So here we don't have any case. We go back to our default case. Al baitu, al gurfatu. No reason to say anything. Al hammamu. Okay. But see fi, I'm seeing fi, so I cannot say al matbahu. I cannot say matbahu anymore because I have fi. You have to say fil matbahi. Okay. So inshallah, please try them. I have 5 more minutes. I want to see how many things equal. It's similar things, but right now it's a sentence. A talibu, this word, I don't know, I think we had a talibu student, fil jami'ati. So you guys definitely, this is will be another cool thing. If you have a dictionary, you don't know what jamia means, you look in the dictionary, and then you find out, then you make the whole sentence. Jamia is a university, right? University. And of course you have alif lam, so you say the. So now you know the meanings, you understand everything. So now you think about the grammar, or you can do vice versa. I would be interested if you could get the grammar first and then look into the words. That way I know you know the grammars. For example, even if you know what, let's do another one. Subhanallah, I think. Okay, for example, here you have no idea what dukan is. Let's say you don't know, but you're looking at it. Okay, you have a fee. Okay, so I just put kasra. Now let me look at what a dukan means. Okay, so that will be, because this way you're making sure you know your grammars, right? In this chapter, the only thing they're trying to teach you, one of the main thing they're trying to teach you. 2 more minutes. I'm going to use my 2 minutes. I don't care. Okay, so yes. So this would be in the first scan, just put the kasra where it should be and put the dhamma, just ending. For example, al-qalamu, you put n, here you say ala, I'm going to put kasra, then go back. If you don't know the words, go back to the dictionary and then please do translate them. Okay. Oh, and this is what I was talking about. See, they're just showing you have two kinds of words. Muhammadun, Khalidun, Hamidun, Yasirun, Ammarun, Sa'idun, all of this, Aliyun, Abbasun, everything dun, right? But what happens here? Aminatu, Zainabu. Well, look, this is interesting because I didn't know they will give you the exception, because just like, so basically the rule is if you have feminine feminine word, it's not words, what do you call the proper name. I thought they will just only stick with the tamar buta, but that's good. So it doesn't matter if a tamar buta or proper name, as long as you have feminine proper name. And you have a, later they will tell you foreign names. Any foreign names also will be in the same situation. Okay, so right now they are just focusing on here. In the next chapter they will give you another rule. There are a lot of rules you have to know. This is a big topic, so you kind of have to get used to it. Okay, so you have to know that some words just simply cannot take tanween. Right now we just know that it cannot take tanween, but trust me, they have other problem with these kind of words. These kind of words, it's a secret, I'm telling you early. This word cannot take kasra also. Okay, so this is another problem with this kind of words. Okay, so get used to these things. Right now, as long as you understand any feminine proper nouns doesn't take tanween, it's good enough. Yes, we'll give you record. Okay, so that's okay. So I have to push the other one for the next week, inshallah. So right now, please make sure you understand that this kind of words cannot take tanween, and please do get comfortable with the kasra. You have any harful jar, any preposition, just put kasra. Inshallah, you will be fine, and use the vocabulary list to go through them. I think the time is up. Jazakallah khairan for coming, inshallah. Hopefully you are enjoying it. Inshallah, I'll see you guys next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.